okay? So it's been a really long time since I've recorded one of these videos, but I have some unpacking to do, and I think that it's probably a good idea for me to do it this way so that other people can maybe benefit from what I've just figured out. So it's Saturday, and I just drove my boyfriend to Danvers, which is about 40 minutes away from my house. He had been at my apartment for about 10 days, and when he's here, I can't sleep because he has PTSD and he has night terrors, and the screaming keeps me awake because I feel responsible for waking him up and stopping it. So I don't really sleep very much, maybe a couple hours a night. And when I just dropped him off, I pulled out of the driveway and I felt this profound feeling of relief and peace, and it felt so good. And I had to drive back to Rockport, like I said, about 35 minutes. And I decided to put on an audiobook that I've been listening to because it's Mel Robbins' Take Control of Your Life. And I don't know if you've read it or heard it or whatever, but it usually makes me feel better. Today, I made it to the last session that she does with Cassandra. And Cassandra grew up in a trauma situation where her dad was an alcoholic and he was really scary, and he beat her up and stuff. And so I'm driving and I'm listening, and suddenly I'm sobbing hysterically, and I was triggered so hard by the things that she said, and it brought up a lot of stuff for me about my own childhood. And as she continued to talk, she started to talk about the kind of men that she was attracted to, and that they were bad men that would pin her down and hurt her. And that's my story too. I love my boyfriend, and he doesn't put his hands on me, which is amazing. But many have, and it's because of the way that I grew up and the men that I'm attracted to. And my boyfriend he has a good heart, but for the most part, I do feel like I'm in an abusive relationship because he's a liar and a manipulator, and I get gaslighted a lot, and I've started to have my own trauma responses with him where I can't take it anymore and I'll flip out, and I've put my hands on him. And that relief that I felt when I dropped him off was me not being traumatized anymore by him being around. And it's really sad, but that's how I feel. I can feel it in my chest. I feel it, it manifests in really weird ways, like pain in my hands and like all just ailments that nobody can explain. And to me, I think they're psychological, and I I just have really bad PTSD, and being with somebody like him makes it a lot harder for me. And then not being able to sleep, I just want to sleep like he does. You know, he goes to sleep when I try to go to sleep, you know, usually like 11 o'clock. And then I wake him up at like 1 o'clock the next day. And I lay awake next to him trying to sleep every night. And by like 4:30 in the morning, I just give up and get up, make my coffee, and start working because I just know I'm not going to get any sleep. And it makes me furious that I have to wake him up in the middle of the day because he doesn't have a job. And I think that anybody with a job, you know, if they have the day off and they want to sleep in, that's one thing. But if you don't have a job, you haven't earned that. Like, get up and get a job, you know. And maybe that's a projection, you know. Maybe it's because I work really hard on my business, but you know, I don't have paying clients yet, and I do spend a lot of time lounging around, but I'm working. I'm always working. Even if I'm laying in bed, I'm working on my phone. So this is a whole lot of stuff that I need to start to unpack. And I don't know if anybody is going to be listening to this because it's been a really long time since I've made a video and put it on this channel. But I have some thinking to do, and talking it out a little bit made it a little bit easier to identify what I need to work on. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to journal and see what comes up. But I think that you're going to be seeing a lot of me. And I'm sorry that I don't have makeup on, but who really gives a shit? Do you give a shit? Probably not. All right. Take it easy.